All right, everybody, welcome to Disney Hot Topic for another week. We've got another exciting topic for you guys today. We're going to talk about after park ticketed events or just separate ticketed events, whatever you want to call it. But that's what we're going to talk about today. And we've got some good. I think we're going to have some good discussions, some good opinions flying around today. It's going to be an interesting one. I'm Jackson. I'm Disneyland Man's Instapics on Instagram.
I'm Dean. Dean's Parks and Vibes on Instagram.
I'm Nick Carter on Instagram and Happily Ever Carter on YouTube.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Laszlo, and we are the Foolish Mortals, the Disney Foolish Mortals on all socials.
I'm Kevin. I'm Brit's Guide to Disney Vacation Club and co-host of the Disload podcast.
I am Jay, and I'm Jay Ventures UK on Instagram.
Hi, I'm Lee.
And I'm Mike.
And our Instagram page is Kings of Disney.
And hi, I'm Joe, and I'm Joe Martinez TJ on Instagram. You can find me there.
Awesome. It's so glad to have everybody here. We've got some new faces, which we're always stoked to have. So we really appreciate everyone showing up today and everyone popping in for our little chat. We wanted to open it up today with a question, just a general one. What events has everyone been to? What have they attended? And then how did you feel about it? Like, just generally, did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it overpriced? Was it overhyped? I can start. I went to the Christmas party in Disney World one year. I think it was 2018 or something like that. And it was my parents and I, we couldn't afford to all three of us go, so they just sent me as a ambassador for the family. But I had a really good time, but it was in a way different way. Like, I rode like two rides. Like, I rode a couple things. I took a lot of pictures, but I really just kind of enjoyed myself and just like spent time on Main Street, and they made it snow, and it's just cute. Like, they have all the snacks and stuff. And I think that was my favorite part, was just like how chill it was for me. And just how much I enjoyed being there. And it just didn't feel as fast paced to me as the parks sometimes can. But I've heard a lot of things from a lot of different people about those events, and maybe I just got lucky, and maybe they're usually pretty busy. So I don't know. Anyone else have their event?
I've done a few Mickey's Not So Scary over the years. I did one Christmas one when I was working over there, which was really cool. And other than that, I did one Magical Weekend about 15 years ago, which is not done by Disney, but you get an outside event company hiring like Typhoon Lagoon, and it's like an adult kind of dance party there, which is quite cool. Very un-Disney, but it was good.
Cool.
Yeah, so I've done quite a few of the Mickey's Very Merries. We did last 2 years, we've done the Mickey's Very Merry and the Halloween party as well. And last year in our trip, we did all three in the same trip. So we did Jollywood's, Mickey's Very Merry, and Mickey's Not So Scary in the same trip. And we've also done some of the other kind of paid for after hours events as well on different trips. So we've done like Magic Kingdom once, I think, and we've done Hollywood Studios as well. So I am very Disney World orientated, to be fair. But I'm a massive fan of them, so I'm sure we'll get into that later.
So we've done, I think I've counted 4 Not So Scary parties, 2 Mickey's Very Merry Christmas parties, an after hours party, we done Jollywood Nights, and when we was Disneyland Paris annual pass holders, we done a pass holder event there. And separate, I've done a marathon weekend, but I don't think we're covering them.
We've done Mickey's Not So Scary in 2024. That was my first time actually in Walt Disney World. Hannah's been many times as a child because she's from a Disney family. And I think it was absolutely fantastic. I was so looking forward to it, being able to dress up, see the people, how they dressed up, great costumes, really, really good character interactions or character lineup. I wouldn't say that the interactions necessarily were the best because it's obviously quite busy, so it ends up being quite rushed. But Jack and Sally were absolutely amazing. I think that was a fantastic interaction. and I had a great time. Now, Hannah's got a little bit of a different opinion about it.
I weren't really enjoying myself. Looking back at it, I enjoyed myself, but at the time I wasn't having a great time.
But that has something to do with your shoes as well.
But that's my own fault. That's not Disney's fault. And this year, hopefully, we'll get to do a Jollywood Nights and a Mickey's Christmas Party.
Yep. I can't wait for the Jollywood Nights for one reason, is that is the only place at the moment where you can meet Chip and Dale in the Rescue Rangers outfit.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've done.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry. I've done Not So Scary Halloween Party back in 2019. I picked up another wife, but that's another story.
What?
But even them out.
That's a story for another time. I've done after Disney fireworks cruises. I've done a couple of those. I've done a VIP tour, and we have something booked, but we're not sharing at the moment for this time, and we're going in 18 days as we record. So I've got to get that in. But yeah, we've done those. The VIP tour, best money ever, and I love the fireworks cruises. I think they're really good value. Hire a boat for 10 people, split it 10 ways. It's as cheap as chips. So that's really all I've done party wise.
Okay. So my first experience was at Disneyland Paris when I was an annual pass holder. So I did a couple in 2019. One of which was the one when they did the Disney review in a year, in a night. You had like Halloween, you had the Princess and the Pirates, Christmas. It was cool, but it was a Disneyland Paris after hours event. So, you know, that was my experience until I went to Mickey's Not So Scary in Florida, and I was a little what's the word? Kind of hesitant because of my experience from Paris and the crowds there. But I couldn't have loved it more. We literally had the best time. Met the Seven Dwarfs, which was just everything. And then, yeah, just literally kind of what you were touching on, Jackson, just like having like the chill vibes, just walking around and being like, just chill, just relax. It wasn't like a park day. It was just like, it just felt different in just like the best way. And I love Halloween. So yeah, it was awesome.
So for me, in terms of Disney World, was the Very Merry Christmas Party. I did that for 2 years. Both very different experiences. One was freezing, and the other one was not. Then Jollywood Nights last year. That was a very fun experience. Definitely one of my favorites. Oogie Boogie Bash here at Disney's California Adventure. Went dressed up and everything. That was a really fun like Halloween event, just seeing everyone dressed up. I'm sure someone else mentioned that as well. And oh god, I'm trying to remember. Well, I don't know if it counts, but grad night when I graduated high school was my, I guess we'll say, my very first after hours event. I don't recall much other than the dance parties were great. But yeah, other than that, yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and when I did my cultural program, because Epcot does like a few after hours events, so I got to work a few of those. So that was a different experience, like obviously being a cast member, but yeah, it was still a lot of fun.
So it sounds like a lot of us we've got a little bit of a mixed bag, but it sounds like a lot of us had a pretty good experience. Am I wrong in saying that, or did most of us have a pretty good time? Maybe if we got better shoes for Hannah, otherwise I think it'd be pretty good. So here's my burning question about these. Let's start off with this. Do you think it's fair to pay for a full price ticket for the day and then pay for this ticket for this after hours event? And like, do you think should the day discount be cheaper, or should like the ticketed event be a little cheaper, or should it be like, how should that work if it's supposed to be? Yeah, Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, my opinion on it is most of us on this call are British based, UK based. So this product is produced for the American market. So where we've got park hopping in our ticket and we're there for 14 days or more, we've got more time. So going into Magic Kingdom on a party day is not an issue for us. But for an American guest, they don't want to waste their day going into Magic Kingdom on a party day. So for an American, I'm assuming they would buy their 3 or 4 day park ticket. Then they might add a party for their 5th day and have a pool day or a pool most of the day until they go to the party. I think they can get in at 4 o'clock in most of these parties, can't you? Or 2 o'clock, something like that. So I think we have to understand as coming from this side of the water that it isn't a product made for us, really. I mean, I don't know if you'd agree with me there or whether I'm way off, but that's what I feel about it. That's my sort of a 10 Pennyworth.
Yeah, Hannah and Laszlo, did you have something to say as well?
Yeah, I agree with Kev on this one because for us there was no issue. What we've done is we just had a pool day in the morning and then got changed and went to Not So Scary, and it was absolutely fine. But from a different kind of perspective, I think those parties that offer something for free or not free, like included in the ticket, that might worth it. For example, at Mickey's Not So Scary, you get candy. Now, for us in the UK, American candy is ridiculously expensive, and you can't even get it. So you can make the system work if you find a kind of cheaper day and you fill yourself a proper own candy. This is exactly what we've done. That was the plan. We get our money's worth in American candy, especially Three Musketeers. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
And you can get in the UK. So that's a different kind of thing. Or if there's merchandise there, that is, you can only buy there at the party. So there's some sort of kind of privilege comes with the ticket as well. I think it might worth the price. Or
Until
like
they put it all in the outlet after the season's over.
yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
But even with the Christmas party, it's not much, but you get free cookies, you get free hot chocolate or hot drinks. So you get something for it, and then you get some specific merch. I think it's easier to then justify the price.
Because some of these parties are like, okay, pay this price to get in, and it's basically just like a separate menu. You're getting nothing for your price. You just get a new menu that you're still paying full price for.
Yeah, so that's a bit cheeky as well, because like it's kind of like you get something exclusive, but it's going to cost you even more. So it's a kind of like 50-50. But some events, I think it is justifiable, especially if you find a lower tier price. Because what we've done last year is we booked not through Disney, but through a UK website that specializes in Disney holidays, and there was a 5% discount offer on it. Plus, we chose one of the days which was on the lower end of the tier, and it was affordable, especially if you add all these things to it. So some of these, I think it can worth the price. And even going back to Hannah's feet, like we had one of the most amazing interaction there, or pixie dusting, if you want to say, a magical moment with a cast member, because we went to Emporium and Hannah's feet were absolutely killing. She was dressed as Rapunzel. I was dressed as Han Solo, but everyone thought I was Flynn Rider, and I was getting really annoyed with that. I was like, not Flynn Rider, Han Solo. And we went to Emporium and we looked at what's the brand?
I just wanted a pair of flip-flops.
Yeah, and
the cheapest ones I could find.
The only thing we could find was Crocs, because they came out with this slipper kind of Crocs at the time. And we were looking at it, and this cast member was coming, and I don't remember her name, but she just asked like what we were looking for. So we said like, yeah, what the story is. Hannah's feet are killing. It's nearly bleeding, and we're just trying to find some slippers, but we can't find the size.
I did think my feet was bleeding at one point, but turns out some red velvet cake that we had fell into my shoe, and I was like, oh my god, there's blood! It was cake.
And it was not that dramatic. But then the cast member disappeared, and she came back after around 10 minutes, and we thought that she just forgot about us. So she comes out with these brand new at the time Crocs, Minnie Mouse Crocs. She gives it to us, and she's like, right, I'm going to get you a bag so you can put your old shoes in it. And I was like, oh, thanks so much. Where can we go and pay for it? And she was just like, no, a princess shouldn't have sore feet, and she wouldn't let us pay for it. So she just said like, there you go, there's a bag. Put your old shoes in it and enjoy the rest of the night. And I think that was so magical and so amazing. And again, if you calculate the price, than for us, I think. It
Nothing
worked,
to do with the actual event.
but it worked out great financially.
I think
Sorry, go on.
I think it's good if they limit the amount of people going in. But like you do Mickey's Not So Scary, and it's crazily busy. You've got to get in the queue if you want to like meet Seven Dwarfs. You're in the queue for 3 hours.
On Halloween night, then it's really busy.
So I don't know how much they actually limit it. I mean, like you've got the ones coming up over the summer at Disney World, and they're like £150 a night for 3 hours. And I just don't know if the value is really there. I mean, if they are going to keep on top with how many people are going in, then yeah, you don't mind paying it as such, but it's just nice.
Those events are dead though.
Yeah.
Those events are really, really limited. So like you could almost walk on Rise when we was in studios, and it was like the day after 4th of May. So obviously it was considerably less. But my view on them, sorry to jump in, but is that the parties, you're paying for something you can't get. So if you want to do it, you're justifying the price just by doing it because you've got everything you can't do in a normal day. Whereas I do have a view on the after hour events like the ones in May, that the money they're charging for say 2 tickets, you could potentially get similar experience by staying at a deluxe resort for a night and utilising the extra magic hours in the evenings instead and combine. But if you look at like the Magic Kingdom one, you might get some different fireworks as well. So we fully love the after hour parties because we don't do any rides generally on those. It's all about the parades, the fireworks, the interactions, everything but rides on the. But then obviously we've got a 14-day ticket, so we'll spend God knows how many days back in. I think last trip we went to Magic Kingdom 7 times in 2 weeks. So, but that's where I see value versus product. Like fireworks, obviously for Halloween and Christmas are quite special as well. I think they rival Happily Ever After easily. Halloween parade, we watched twice. Christmas parade, we watched twice. We then watched it the next day to watch it being filmed as well for the Christmas time parade as well. I think it's, if you can justify why you're doing it, then they're worth every penny. If you're going to those events maybe for rides, that's my view on it. I think you might be a bit more disappointed on what you get because obviously you're going there for the bits you can't get every day. But if you haven't got the 14-day ticket, like if we was going for a week, I think those extra 3-hour events are possibly still expensive. You might just take it in 2 weeks. So, but that's where I see value versus product. Like fireworks, obviously for Halloween and Christmas are quite special as well. I think they rival Happily Ever After easily. Halloween parade, we watched twice. Christmas parade, we watched twice. We then watched it the next day to watch it being filmed as well for the Christmas time parade as well. I think it's, if you can justify why you're doing it, then they're worth every penny. If you're going to those events maybe for rides, that's my view on it. I think you might be a bit more disappointed on what you get because obviously you're going there for the bits you can't get every day. But if you haven't got the 14-day ticket, like if we was going for a week, I think those extra 3-hour events are possibly still expensive. You might just take a day ticket. But then everything at Disney has a price now, doesn't it? It's, can you justify? But I can only talk about the Hollywood Studios, I think it was. But that one was considerably less. You were walking around and there was nobody there. There was characters walking around as well. So if that's your thing, you can really get involved. Everyone was over by Galaxy's Edge, like with all like the lightsabers and that stuff. So it was an experience you couldn't buy on a normal day.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. We've also done the Hollywood Studio Nights and it was hardly anyone there. We're definitely people that enjoy the theme parks by night. And we did feel like we were part of an elite crew and I would definitely pay to do that again.
Yeah, I think what I found was unique characters. So that's in the after hours party. You've got more food and drink offerings as well. And I don't know about you, Nick, but I take a massive backpack because you're getting Coke, Diet Coke, popcorn. I even tried to put a couple of Mickey's premium bars in there, but they didn't last too well. I'll be honest with you in that heat.
No, you want to go for the cookie sandwich.
But I think I'd already eaten about 4 or 5, and I was feeling rough. You definitely can't do rides with the amount you consume on an after hours pie to make up your money. But I think they're really, really worth it. Going back to your original point, Jackson, if I was going to the US and I bought a US ticket for one day and I wanted to do an after hour, I wanted to do an event and had to pay extra for that, I'd find that really harsh. I think that's not a fair way of doing it. But like going back to Kev's original point, for us, when we've already got a 14-day ticket, you absolutely pay the extra because it is the experience. It's that one-off thing you can do.
Another point I noticed about what Nick was saying is that one of our first parties we went to was 2014, which was Mickey's Not So Scary. And at that point, it was fairly quiet and definitely worth the price. The last time we did it was in 2024, and it was a huge disappointment, sadly, because of the amount of people that was there. Unfortunately, we had really bad weather, which obviously that's just the way it is. But there was hardly any sweet candy out. The characters obviously weren't out. So with everybody then hitting the ride, because there were so many people there, we hardly did anything. So that was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, it's the only one we've ever left early.
Yeah.
I think the trick is to go to a party night the day before a hurricane.
Yeah, calm for the storm.
Because that worked really well for us one year.
Like I think someone said, you go there with I always go with something you really want to do. So for us, it was the first time Bruno was a meet and greet. So we got in the line for Bruno. The heavens opened. I stood. There was about 5 of us standing strong. After a while, eventually it was just me. So 20 minutes later, it was just me under my umbrella. I'm holding strong. It's going to end. It did eventually end. The rain. I was first in line for Bruno, but I was absolutely soaked.
Water came out of his shoe. I was dry. It was fine. I was over in a restaurant.
Jay, did you have
I'm not
something to add as well?
We did
one of the top tip with Mickey's Not So Scary as well is if you are getting the Halloween the candy, which you have to absolutely get as much candy as you can. Don't put it in your hand luggage, because the poor guys at TSA, they have to swab every single one. I felt so sorry for this poor lady having to swab every single piece of candy up in my hand luggage.
I think we clocked about 2 kilos last year.
Impressive.
Yeah, you got to get your money's worth. I mean, last Mickey's Not So Scary they gave you a lithograph which you went in, as well as all the candy that you get and things.
Yeah, the Christmas ones you get all the decorations as well, don't you? So you get you get a Christmas decoration at Hollywood, and you get a Christmas decoration every time you go to Mickey's Very Merry as well.
That's quite cool.
So for each one we've done so far, we have them on the tree every year now. And I gave a couple away last year because we obviously had extra, which was quite nice for someone to get for free. But you talk about crowds, so we did Horror Nights. We did all 4 in one trip. The 3 Disney ones and then Horror Nights. The ticket's half the price and we did nothing because the park was like rammed. The park was busier than a normal day. Like you couldn't move over at the other park. So I do think you still notice the limit of the crowd. It's just if you're going to go to Main Street to watch a parade, it's going to be busy.
Yeah, get there an hour early at least.
Yeah, it's even that. Like there are people on the year before I managed to get the Instagram spot looking up down Main Street with about 45 minutes to go. You couldn't touch that last year for both parties. It was definitely a lot busier. But if you go to Magic Kingdom and are worried about it being busy, you'd never enjoy it because it's busy there all the time.
And also with Mickey's Not So Scary, you get the ride overlays as well, which you can only get at the time. I think that the teacups I love the teacups, especially the ones that's in, and it's so fun with the Halloween music.
And the characters in Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, it's in the queue line. Yeah, exactly. That was just something that you wouldn't get on a normal day. So again, that's something that kind of justifies the price. And going back to what Nick said about the after-hour events, is if you want to see the luminous path in Pandora, the only way to see it really is if you go for an after-hour event, because
we'll be able to do it in November if the parks are open, because we did it last year.
For now, yeah.
We made a point because they extended the hours in that week when we were there, so we managed to get like a good hour or two after dark, which we've never done. So I think you just have to look at the times when they change it all the time, depending on how busy they are as well. They literally, we were there and they changed it. You have to keep an eye on the dates and times as well, because they really do change them without really making too much notice. And then it suddenly went from nowhere and be open till 8 o'clock. So because it gets dark, if you're going early November, you should be able to get that probably
we
in
did
the
last time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful.
And then you get the tree show as well, don't you? And all the other bits as well as Pandora, which is really cool.
I remember the days when they opened the parks at 6 a.m. and it was still dark in the mornings when you went in to Pandora.
Yeah, that'd be too early for me.
Back in 2019.
But also just to pivot from Disney World, don't kill me. Just to Disneyland Paris, where I mentioned going for like when I had an annual pass going for those parties. That was when I was a little bit kind of like, I'm paying for this annual pass, which I had the top tier at the time and that wasn't cheap. But then you want me to pay this much more money to come to an annual pass party for annual pass holders. So it's not just like, Mickey's not like anyone can go to that. Like this is just for annual pass holders, but you have to pay as an annual pass holder to come to an annual pass party. So that was one, although you got good value, like as I said, the one that always stands out is the one when they did a year of Disney events in a night. So they did all the seasons, all the things, all the shows, parade, like everything. It was so cool, but having to pay to go to it, and Disneyland Paris crowds are not my friend. I'm not a fan of them. So yeah, switching back to Disney World, as I said, when we went to Mickey's Not So Scary, like we was always going to go to it no matter what it cost because we wanted to experience it. As I said, I love Halloween, and it was our first time going for Halloween in Disney World. And then I just feel the value we got. Someone else was saying like when we met this, I mean, we made, those of you that were on with me last time know my whiteboard. We made like a military plan of what we were doing when we were there. We queued up from, I don't know what time, like 3:30 or 4:00 for Seven Dwarfs. So we got into them at 6. As soon as that opened, we were like the third people to see them. So we got out, like it was, I think if, obviously not everyone's going to do that, but if you plan it well, you're going to get even more value for your money. And I mean, I'm literally like, we're not going to go to Mickey's Not So Scary probably next year, but we'll see, maybe soon.
Do it.
Like, but yeah, we're 100% doing it. Like, I wouldn't hesitate to pay that money again. Absolutely.
Remember though, on obviously the parties as well, you've got party specific snacks that you can't get.
Yeah.
So again, it's another thing that, which is why for me, like rides do take a bit of a back seat. Because it's just another thing that you need to try and fit in. And if you've got those parties, you maybe got 5 or 5 hours or so when they start. So there's definitely going to be things that you can't experience or certainly can't get that you're going to want to try or do. It was the same at Jollywood. It was the same at the Very Merry. There was something you couldn't get the next day. So you're going to want to try and work out that plan. I certainly found that things like the map that you get at Jollywood was so much better as well than what you get at Mickey's Very Merry. The map you get is really detailed, where to go, what to get, so you can really plan your night and kind of make a better attack at what you're going to do. Whereas you have to kind of find your own way when you're in Magic Kingdom at the 2 parties, because you don't get quite as much description on where to go and what to get, which again wastes time because you actually don't realise how much you can walk around Magic Kingdom and lose an hour if you're at the wrong side of where you want to be. It's all about the snacks.
Yeah, and I think you have to remember also, I think we all have to remember the world. Has to remember. I mean, it's all these parties, these events are basically designed like it's a unique experience. It's something completely different to a regular park day. So obviously, like when we say, do you get your money's worth? It really depends on what you're looking for. If you're a huge Christmas fan, like I love Christmas, I love the holidays, and I'm aware that I could go to Magic Kingdom or Disneyland in December and see the decorations, but it's a completely different thing to be there at night and seeing the parade and seeing the fireworks and
Smoked.
running to all where you have the gingerbread cookies and they give you the eggnog and the cider and you do the trail. And so it's like, of course, it changes completely. I will say for one event in particular, someone mentioned Jollywood Nights. I think in terms of the first or the second year they did it, I've heard mixed reviews the first year, but the second year, that's the year that I went. I think they really like nailed it in terms of like, okay, it's a limited experience in terms of it's not going to be crowded. You're going to be able to enjoy the park. If you want to do rides, you can do that, but also enjoy the shows. Shout out to the Muppets. That show is amazing. The Christmas show with the Muppets. It's so good. I love the Muppets. They deserve more love. But yeah, the fireworks are cute. The little show at the Chinese Theater is cute. But in terms of like experience and unique characters, I mean, they really take the time to be like, okay, we're going to place characters that you never or rarely get to see in a park day. So you get the opportunity. And in terms of Magic Kingdom, I feel like there's times, and maybe it's just me, but there's times when it's just immensely crowded. I get that it's a party and you want people to go and it's, all that. But sometimes I wonder, was it really a private experience? Like, because it feels like you're shoulder to shoulder with people sometimes, either waiting for a show or it takes 2 hours to do a ride or to meet a character. We try to meet, someone mentioned Jack and Sally. It was like an hour and a half. I'm like, child, that's why I'm like, organize your time also. I say, do rides at the end. Do the unique experiences first. Watch the fireworks. Watch the parade. Say I love you to your significant other, and then go ride Tron or Mine Train, which will probably be a walk-in because people are already leaving at that point. So, yeah, it's just sometimes I think maybe this is my take on it, but people that buy tickets forget that you're going because you like buy the ticket because you want to see something different. If you buy the ticket just to do rides, go to the park day before the party. Go into the parks before an event is the greatest thing ever because no one goes. It is empty. They all wait until the event happens. So you go, even though the park closes at 6 p.m., but you get to do Big Thunder, Pirates, and Mine Train, and whatever, all in an hour and a half because no one is there. So, yeah. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling. So let's keep talking.
You've hit the nail on the head, though, with comparing the two, because Jollywood's a completely different vibe to Mickey's Very Merry, which is very chaotic, whereas Jollywood's very Hollywood, and you've got much more time to kind of take it all in without being shoulder to shoulder with someone you've never met but now know very well.
we found Jollywood feels a bit more grown up as well, a bit more mature.
Yeah, it was more adult.
We went in 23 the first year, and we were going in just before Christmas, so we'd seen all the previous vlogs of people slating it. It got such bad reviews, and we were really worried about it. We had the best night. They'd obviously managed to fix a few of the problems. It still wasn't great. It's still, around the Tip Top Club, that was still, too crowded. It was hard to get drinks. But what they did really well, so in the Disney Junior section, you can easily get around 4 characters really quickly, and they're 4 fun characters, unique experiences. Lots of other unique experiences out there as well. The snacks are great. The food was great. You get the Gertie cookie. You can't get the Gertie cookie any other time. And yeah, the fact that most people dressed up as well, so people you just feel a bit more like you're at an adult event, which we loved it.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it again because I hear that it's only got better every year, and from what you guys are saying, you've sort of solidified that really. So I'm excited to do that this year, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. So picking up on what Jay was saying around Disneyland Paris, so we were annual pass holders 2018, 2019. We done a pass holder event there, and it was carnage. The crowds, as soon as they opened, the queue was so long just to get in, and then everyone just run to these characters. I think they had 20 different characters out, and lots of ones you'd never seen before.
Yeah.
Gamora was out, Boba Fett was out, Hercules and Meg were out. So some really great character meets. But by the time you got to one of them lines, that you're already 2 hours deep.
Yeah.
And your next line was going to be another 2 hours. So I think we in total got 5 characters because we got lucky with walking past R2D2 who happened to be out.
Yeah.
But
it was just the organisation of it, really.
Yeah. That was the entirety of the night. I think we rode one ride and met 5 characters.
Yeah, it was.
And 5 characters includes Herc and Meg being 2, and the 3 guys from.
I can't remember now.
Yeah,
it's been too long. I met too many other characters.
It was just really badly organised.
Yeah.
So
you could just see the difference in organisation from Walt Disney World compared to Disneyland Paris, I would say.
But do you think that's a European, because nobody queues in Paris anyway, it's all push and shove, or is it just, I don't know, the way it's organised?
I think they'd definitely oversold it by a long range, because every queue was huge. Everyone complained about it. I've never known anything to be like that. People were so disappointed. You couldn't go on queue to get and complain about the tickets, because the queue for City Hall was the longest queue of the night. And you haven't already done that long for characters. It was a shame because it could have been a really great night.
If I remember rightly, actually, so they gave free gifts, which is amazing, but somehow we didn't get ours when we came in because it was such a hustle and bustle. We didn't get our free gift. So then at the end of the evening, we were trying to get our free gift, and that was a bit of a nightmare in itself. But
my friends went to that first party and said it was a shambles.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they've probably improved since.
It certainly weren't like that last year. It was spot on, so they've obviously learned very quickly.
Yeah.
I think Jollywood Night has the potential to be stronger than Mickey's Very Merry Christmas, personally. I've not been
there's alcohol
in the videos. Sorry?
Yeah, there's alcohol for a start, isn't there? So, yeah, there's alcohol.
You can get alcohol in Magic Kingdom, though, now.
Not quite as freely as you can get it on Jollywood Nights, from what I understand. Because I believe the
It's
first
a bit more free-flowing.
Yeah. The very first Jollywood Nights was a complete disaster. And if you listen to the Disney Dish episode on it, he sent his sister, and then he went the day after, and she was going, no, that wasn't there. No, that wasn't there. No, that person wasn't there. So they made an improvement almost overnight on those Jollywood Night parties. Instantly, they upped the game on the second time out, and I think they've upped it every year since. So yeah, but it's interesting. It's interesting they've managed to pull that one off.
I think that's interesting there, and then going back to what Dean was asking before about how things are different in Europe, or is it because people are doing things differently? I think it's just, especially in Paris, they're not really interested in feedback. They kind of do their own thing, and we're just gonna do it. You don't like it, then don't come. It's your problem, not our problem. This is my impression, because the first time ever, like last year when we went, and I had to complain about something to Disney, because it was just, we went to the Royal Banquet, and it was €100 at the time, and we didn't have a great experience there. And a lot of the things were just it could be very, very easily improved upon. And it was not just our experience, but the people's experience who were sitting next to us there in the restaurant. And it's just kind of when you get the automatic email back that thank you very much for your concerns, we're going to look into it, blah, de, blah, de, blah, de, blah. And you can just tell from the email, especially when you send 2 complaints to 2 different locations and you get the virtually same email back as a response to 2 completely different kind of issues. It's kind of gives you the impression nah, we're going to do our way. People are going to pay for it anyway, so there's no need for us to change it because it's just going to be fine. Whilst if you go to the American parks, well, we can talk about Walt Disney World. If you sent in a complaint or just not even a complaint, a question or a question for clarification, it's a completely different level of response that you're getting from them, because they are, I think, more going out of their way to make sure that the experience that you have in the park is the best experience that you can have. So they do listen to the people and the park goers. Whilst here in this end of the world, it doesn't seem very much like being the case.
I think there's a completely different mindset in America. It's more of a concern culture. Let's face it, in Europe they couldn't. They're not too worried about us, are they? I don't want to get too controversial again, but I could say something about our European friends. But yeah, it's an American thing. Customer service is king in America, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
my
king.
parents
It
describe
doesn't happen in France.
in Florida as happiness on crack.
Yeah, you would never say that about a French person, would you?
No. There, to be fair, there are some wonderful cast members in Disneyland Paris as well that we met, and we're still in touch with them. But in general, that's a completely different kind of customer service culture, if you want to call it customer service at all.
Yeah.
What interests
So going back
me,
to the overall theme, sorry, Ron, do you want to?
I was just going to say, what interests me is the difference between the night events at Disneyland and what they do at Walt Disney World. But I think it's just the culture, because Disney World is the one that has all the the UK tourists and things. So it's like their holiday. So the same why they can't do the Haunted Mansion overlay like they do in California and Tokyo, because it would be down too long. And so like California, you get a Sweethearts Night. You get Pride. There's I think there was a Disney Channel night and things coming up.
Yeah.
There's more variety there than what we get in Orlando. So I think that's something interesting at some point. But sorry, you were going to say, Mike?
I was going back to the overall, just the original theme. With the party nights, a big element of it is what you make of it and what you put into it. So for us, it's about the outfits we're going to wear. I mean, I'd never dream of wearing slippers in a park, but yeah, every Christmas party I find up buying a new pair of slippers because
I think we're going to do pajamas next year.
We're wearing pajamas. Yeah, we've done pajamas both times we've been. So I'm going to go in slippers, and they're actually so comfortable to walk in. So it's like, God, I wear these every time. But I think it's that, isn't it? You have a bit of a plan in mind, but actually it's the atmosphere, it's the energy you put into it. Yeah. If you go there thinking you're going to go on every ride, you're going to have a bad night. But actually, if you go there thinking, I'm going to have a laugh, I'll get one or two great photos with some characters, we'll watch a couple of great shows, a couple of great snacks, we're going to look like complete idiots in the real world, but in Disney World, we look great. That's a part of it. The best thing I've ever seen at any party, though, was we walked past a guy and he'd done himself as the gold Walt Disney statue, and he's walking around with a gold Mickey Ted plush, and everyone who walked past this guy just gave him a round of applause. Incredible. So, yeah.
I think it's the magic you make, isn't it? Ultimately, that's what it is. That's what Disney is. It's all about magic and the moments and the memories, the core memories that you make. And I think these events help with making those core memories.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, Lee, to make that. I mean, the thing that I've been hearing, because I think I have the least experience in this area, but everyone has touched on this almost, that it is what you make it, right? And so if you go and you say, I'm here for this one thing that's exclusive to this party, or I'm here for this character that's exclusive to this, then it's super worth it, right? And it's really funny because I really like the exclusive merch. And I really like that there is snacks. I'm not super into like the exclusive things like that, but it is fun. But for me, these parties are really worth it because I get to go as a photographer and it's so chill. Like when I went, if you go at the right time, right? Like we've talked about, the crowds can vary, but like for me, when I went to Very Merry Christmas Party, it was crowded, but not crazy. And I just got to like wander, and like being able to just kind of wander around and take photos as I wanted, even though it was at night and it was harder, it was still really nice. And I'm happy to pay for that privilege again. I actually remember when they used to do like, there was like, for a minute, there was like a photography pass or something you could get and you could stay like a little later and shoot in the parks, which was neat. But I would totally pay for it just for the privilege of doing that. But we've touched on this idea that the crowds kind of depend, right? Because obviously the party you go to, no crowds, that's a great day no matter what you're there for or what you're doing. But do you guys feel like, because everyone's been more than me, do you guys feel like they're getting consistently more crowded, or is it really hit or miss, or is it like day before a hurricane, like that sounds like a good day to go, or is it like, do you
I
feel like
wouldn't
they're
recommend
getting
it
more
though.
and more crowded, but and so then they're less worth it, or do you think they're still worth it even if there's tons of crowds?
I think there's a
I mean,
difference between post and pre-pandemic levels. I think they're selling far more tickets since the pandemic than they did before, from what I can work out from the people I've spoken to and looking at the vlogs and stuff. There's a lot more people in them parks now than there was
I
before
think
the
it's seasonal though as well, because when we've been in the May, it's been a lot quieter than the October and November. The back end of the year does seem to be a lot busier than say the middle part maybe, or certainly around that kind of early springtime.
I mean, we go
Yes, we did.
September, February, and February now is quieter than September
Yeah,
in general.
I think
Yes,
they've
we
got
did.
peak
Sorry.
months, haven't they? They go.
So
Even
I
for
was
not
just
so
going to
scary, we
say.
went. Sorry.
Oh no, sorry. I was just going to say we actually our last Mickey's Not So Scary we did at the beginning of September during those couple of weeks where it's generally very quiet at the parks, and that's when the party was really really busy. It was I didn't expect it to be busy because I think it only just opened 2 weeks before that. But yeah, we thought early September, mid September would be the quieter time to go, but no, it was really really busy. Whether that was just unlucky or whether that is a case now that they are overselling the tickets. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, they
Yeah,
seem
we
to
went
bring
early.
forward earlier year on year, don't they? So even though it's like Halloween, it's going into August now, same as Halloween Horror Nights. And yeah, money in.
Yeah, we went early September as well. I think it was 2nd of September or so, and it was a public holiday in the States on that day. And Hannah's mum was even saying, don't book that day because it's a public holiday and it's going to be busy. But my thinking was that if next day the kids are back at school, so at the night time, it's potentially going to be quieter. And actually, the crowd levels were all right, weren't they?
And I think a lot of people plan to go when it's most quiet. Everybody has the same idea. So what's meant to be like quiet times for parties and stuff will be more busy. And what's meant to be like the busy time for parties will be more quiet because nobody's going to book to go during the busy time.
Yep.
Funnily enough, the first party always sells out. The one in August always sells out, the very first one.
Yeah, we did the first Christmas party and that sold out instantly.
I think with the crowds, when we went for that first Not So Scary, we did one. We went for 4 weeks, but we did one at the start of September, and then we did one the third into 4th week of September. And the one at the start, similar to what you guys were saying, was very busy. So I was like, as much as I enjoyed it, like I knew there was going to be crowds, and I think like we were saying, you go in. If I went in it thinking it's just going to be us, we're going to meet everyone, we're going to go on everything, I think I would have been like, this is awful. But I knew, there's going to it's Disney. But then when we went to the later one, and it was quiet to the point that like we watched Boo to You both times. But the second time, we went to Frontierland, and there was literally nobody. Like we just stood there, like with nobody next to us. We was like, this is weird. Like I was like, has it been cancelled? Is it not going on? But it rocked out, and it was literally like a handful of like I felt like a bit like I was being naughty, like I shouldn't be here. Like I was like, am I like in somewhere I shouldn't be? Is Frontierland closed? Like it was just weird going from literally one extreme, not the extreme as in, it's still a party crowd, but you can still see it. But to a well, no crowds at all. It was very, very different. So I think it is, I guess it's luck with the crowds really. But I think if you again, manage your own expectations. I think people do see these parties sometimes as it's a VIP thing. They're only selling 100 tickets. No, they're not. They're still selling thousands and thousands of tickets. Like, come on. But it's, yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. It's the luck of Disney, I guess.
Well, you just got to take your chance. I mean, that's the thing. What Jay is saying. You got to take your chance with planning the dates of something. It's always like, okay, if I'm thinking this day in particular midweek because I'm thinking it's a school day or whatever, then half of the universe is probably thinking the same thing. So it's almost like you have to take that into consideration. It's like, okay, I'm going to try to plan, because that's the thing. You have to plan a Disney day from start to finish most of the time so you can take advantage of it. But it's like, just plan your day knowing that there is a possibility you're either going to do all of it and more, or half of what you, in your mind, your idea you had set up as goals, right? So you just got to take chance. In my case, like when I did the first time Very Merry Christmas Party, I mean, it was crowded. It was freezing. It was 35 degrees, which, I mean, Europe, you guys are like, whatever, but it's Florida, people. It was freezing. So it was not fun, that experience. We still had a good time, but it was just a lot. And so the next year that me and my partner went, we were like, okay, we're going the same day. We literally chose the same day to go. It was just a Thursday, I think, like 2 days after. The first was a Tuesday, then a Thursday. And I was like, we're doing this again. Okay, let's see how we do. It's a few days before Christmas, and it was a night and day situation. Like, it was a decent amount of people, but we got to see the parade. We got to see the show and see Clarabelle do her thing on the castle. We got to see the fireworks. We did rides. We went to all the gingerbread cookies and cider 3 times, I think, like just to like fill up a backpack with Christmas cookies. So, I mean, it just depends. It like Jay was saying, it's just the luck of the draw in this case. Like, you have to keep an open mind of, like, you can organize super well and it's probably not going to go that way, or you can organize it and do even more amazing things. But also be aware that Disney has so many things to offer than just the 5 things that you want to do. Like, even if maybe you don't get to do a ride, but while you're waiting in line, there's a parade going on, or there's a character that's roaming around, or like, that's also a thing that people have to remember. It's like, Disney is much more than just the attractions. It's an immersive experience.
Hannah and Laszlo, did you have something to add as well?
I want to circle back to Disneyland Paris. This is more aimed towards like Jay, Lea and Mike. Is it worth it? Because I've never actually been to one, but I love watching a vlog. And in these vlogs, you always no one seems that thrilled. No one seems that excited. And they also do this thing with the character meets where they swap characters out. So you're on a line for 2 hours and you end up meeting someone that you don't want to meet. So I'm interested to hear your takes as you've been to one.
Yeah, I mean the switching of the characters is very frustrating.
I heard about the
Um,
whole Sultan and
Jafar, yeah.
the drama over that.
it was yeah, I mean I think I may have been at the same party that you guys were speaking about earlier. The night it was meant to be like the night of 100 characters or something like that. And that yeah, that it was a night of like not meeting 100 characters, you met one. Like if you wanted to, like I don't know how long I mean it was like I don't even know. It felt like 10 days I was in the line. But I mean, I met the 3 hyenas from Lion King, which was cool. But it, like, by the time that was done, every line I'm walking past, I'm like, there's no, like, I'm not going to get in line because that means I'm going to meet the 3 hyenas and then possibly meet someone else, but then they may switch out or, it's, yeah, I mean, I don't want to be done being very negative. It was very fun as well. Like they are really cool, and you do feel like a bit special because it's like something a bit different, and you are there late into the night. And the themes can be cool. Like the one when they did all the seasons in one night was super cool. Like because it was literally Halloween in Frontierland. You walked to Main Street and it was Christmas. You walked into Adventureland and they had like all the Love Festival, Lion King stuff. you walk around Fantasyland and there are princesses and pirates. Like, it was literally like, where do I go? Like, that was a bit like kind of, they went too extreme with that one. Like, it was like literally everything on your face. But like, they are good, but I think like it's the organization. I think what we were saying earlier. It's Walt Disney World. It's very like, they know what they're doing. They know how to make people happy. Like they they care. The customer service, everything. Whereas it's different in Disneyland Paris. It's different. We all know it's different. You go to Disney World, you go to Disneyland Paris. I won't go into, as Kevin was saying, we won't go too far into it, but it's a different type of people. So yeah.
But still the most beautiful park in the world, a lot of people think, Disneyland Paris.
It's very pretty.
It is a beautiful
yeah.
park. It is a beautiful
Everyone's
park.
miserable.
I think Nick may have said earlier about his experience in the past couple of years, which sounded definitely better than ours. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel comfortable saying don't go, or kind of we wouldn't recommend. We didn't have a great experience, but I think when you think about it, it was Badger's 100-character experience. And what we didn't know then was that with Europeans, there's a lot less opportunity to meet characters. Whereas in Disney World, you've got a lot more parks and people are there more often. So actually, they've got the opportunity. It was interesting. This come up on the cruise that we done as well. We've done a European cruise. Every character line was really busy. Everyone kind of filled up. When we've only done a 3-night Caribbean cruise, but on there it was a lot easier to meet characters. And again, it was a much more American-based audience on that cruise. So things that I think if you had, like Jay was having this night of kind of all the different seasons, that sounds amazing. And maybe depending on what the party is, I think you could get a completely different experience than go. I think if it's one of all characters, I'd be a bit cautious, but I think if it's something different, it may well be worth a try.
So, did that answer your question, Hannah and Laszlo? I don't want to cut you off, but
Yeah.
okay, cool. Just one of the last things I wanted to bring up was we've talked a lot about a lot of things. I'm actually really stoked, but if you could do something to improve these events, what would you change, or would you? Do you think they're pretty good? Like we've talked about, some are really good, some aren't. But like, what's something do you think that's missing, or what would you like to see more of?
Dean's already hit one on the head. The Haunted Mansion overlay. I would love to see that. Laszlo didn't mention this one when he said earlier. The best overlay we have in Walt Disney World, in my opinion, Space Mountain, with those red and green flashing lights at Christmas, and Ding Dong Merrily on High going absolutely nuts. I love that. That is my favourite overlay. So I think I'd love to see more overlays. I'm not the biggest fan of Jingle Cruise. Probably unpopular opinion. I think that's very underrated. But I think they could do more. And I think that would just and probably draw more people to the rides, which would then free up the characters a little bit more. So I'd love to see a bit more of a balance with the overlays, personally.
I think the problem with doing that is that Walt Disney World is the place for the once-in-a-lifetime trip. I mean, we've all done those, haven't we? But there are a lot of people that are doing once-in-a-lifetime trips, and they can't take that ride down for that length of time. That's what I've always heard as the excuse for not doing it in Disney World.
I think that's why the Jingle Bell Cruise is a bit underwhelming, because they get all the presents and hats and decorations out in one night, and there's not that much they can do. If they were to add like a brand new audio animatronic just for that season, like, I don't know, I know it wouldn't fit, but like a reindeer or something Christmassy, I think that would draw more people to it. But just presents and decorations, I think they could do better.
Did they at least have festive jokes?
They do, don't they? Do they change the?
They do normally, yeah. That really depends on.
They do.
It's a different spiel. It's a
That
whole
really
different
depends
thing.
on what person you get doing the cruise. That
Yeah,
you'll have
that's also
two
true.
experiences, and you'll have one you think I'm never doing that again, and then one will try to sway you back and go, actually no, I quite enjoyed that. It was quite funny. So that really is personal to the person doing the. It's a bit like Kilimanjaro safaris, though, as a off topic, but depending who you get on that will elevate that just by the interaction they have from driving, don't they? So probably more in terms of improving, it's just maybe the planning of what's where. Because I don't know if you've done any of those parties. The Jolly, as I said to you at the start, there, the Jolly one was really detailed in where you could go and what you could get, so you could really plan the shows because there were so many more different shows and all the different bits you get included in the party. You don't get that. You know when the parade's on, you know when the fireworks are on, you know when the shows are on, but maybe kind of in between that, you're kind of hunting around to find if you are snack orientated or you want to go and get something party specific, including merch as well. There's not a lot of go here or go there. You have got to go and do a lot of hunting, to be fair, which in turn takes a lot of time when you've only got 5 hours.
The other thing with Jollywood is I think you don't need to waste as much time in the queues for the shows.
Agreed.
If you want a decent, as we said, if you want a decent spot, any of the shows or parades, you need at least 3/4 of an hour to an hour. Whereas in Jollywood, you can pretty much go 10 to 20 minutes before, and you've still got a good chance of getting into the show.
Yeah, we did that. Literally, I think 5 minutes on most of them. And that was the first night, so that was probably one of the busiest it was for that year.
So I'd like to see, based on the last Not So Scary that we went to, although it was very busy, we also was hit with bad rain, which is what happens that time of year. But being that time of year, I would have thought there would have been a plan B when it came to a lot of the things that were outside. Things like the candy stations and some of the characters, they just disappeared because obviously they couldn't be outside in the rain. So that meant that not only that everyone was in the queues for the rides, we couldn't see the fireworks or the parade because of the weather, sadly, and then a lot of the candy and the characters disappeared. And I just thought, with those two things, the characters and the candy, surely they could have been, some of them, placed inside a plan B inside spot so that we could then still benefit from those. I just felt it kind of, I mean, it was really bad weather. It did rain for a long time, all night. We had a few breaks, but yeah, it just meant it was just shut down, really. So I think it would have just benefited us if there were a plan B in place, or maybe there is, with some of the characters being indoors that are outside, and more candy station spots inside. Because my candy bag was a bit empty.
Florida in September, eh? You're going to get wet.
Yeah. Florida weather is no joke, y'all. It's not a joke.
Yeah, and we know that's the way it is, and that's, you know, that's the luck of the draw, but I just thought that they would be more prepared for that.
Well, when we were in Tokyo, the night parade, because it was raining, they cancelled the night parade, but they have a special smaller parade that comes out in the rain, and all the characters are in their rain, or going along. And the characters are meeting and greeting. Mickey and Minnie come out in their rain and stuff, so you would think they would bring some of that over. I know it's not Disney Oriental Land, but if Tokyo can do it, then why can't Disney World?
Disney
I think they did
have
actually
a rainy day parade, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Normally, they do have a rainy day parade. Bit hit and miss, but they do have it.
Yeah, I mean, they do their best not to cancel, and I do believe they did put the fireworks on at much later. But I think the parade, I think there was one parade. I think we'd missed that because we were going to go to the later one. But I mean, that's what it is. You know, if it's an outside event. But I just felt like some of the things they could have done to improve would have been just putting the candy stations inside. Some of them are, and definitely a few more characters inside.
Yeah.
Well, I think they could improve. Sorry, Jackson.
No, go ahead. Take it.
Well, I think they could improve on as well, and it's not just necessarily for the parties, but when you've got like a show, a castle show that is specific for that event, for example, the Descenders and Sisters, Mickey's Not So Scary, and it tends to get really, really busy, and if you're quite behind, you don't see anything. You only see the projections. They've got the projection technology. So what would be, I think, beneficial is if they would show those events around the park as well on screens, maybe, and then you could potentially reduce the level of crowds at certain areas, and it would be a little bit more kind of accessible for everyone in the park, because a lot of times as we said, you have to really draw up a plan and figure out like, okay, what we're going to do. Like last time we had to we sacrificed the fireworks to meet Jack and Sally, because it was a rainy day as well anyway, so we knew that the Jack puppet was not going to be coming out anyway. So then it's just become a fireworks show which we can watch on YouTube afterwards. But it would be quite great. Like imagine like if you're queuing up for a ride or queuing up for a character meet, and you would still be able to see whatever's going on stage. I think that would be quite cool, and it could potentially add value to the package.
But then you just go on YouTube on your phone and find out who's live streaming it.
Yeah, you could.
You don't need Disney
well.
to put up screens. There's like hundreds of videos of it on YouTube.
Yeah, but that creates a kind of like atmosphere as well, like if everyone's watching it all together.
I get what you mean, but
Yeah, well, that's something that I think, well, Disneyland does it actually during the fireworks show, is so they have, because it's the fireworks show and then immediately after it's Fantasmic. So they have the water thingies, whatever. The water screens, I'll call them, like projecting at in Rivers of America. So everyone that's waiting for Fantasmic can see the projections while the fireworks is happening. Obviously, it's a completely different experience. You're not seeing it actually, but it does help out a little bit. And then you have the swarm of people. You see the sea of people coming to watch Fantasmic eventually, but it does help a little bit on crowd control. Just to answer the question of what would I change, I was thinking only of like after hours of, not the actual parties, but like the after hours events that Disney World does, like once a month or whatever, is maybe I would add like a theme, like sort of how Disneyland does it, where they mentioned the Pride Night and the Disney Channel night or something, just to make it a little bit different. Because sometimes it's like, okay, you're paying for an after hours event, but even what is it? And it's usually the same thing. You meet the 4 or 5 characters, the rides are open, and that's it. Or maybe I'm wrong because I've only worked it.
Quiet night on,
Yeah, you just get a quiet night. So I'm like, maybe just add like something different once in a while, just to make it a little bit more special. I think that would work out.
Yeah, they used to, didn't they? Because it used to be villains. Because I remember we were booked for villains in 2020, and then we know what happened, and that was soul destroying. Because that was probably the thing we was most looking forward to. So I'd love to see them come back if they brought the Fiend After Hours party back.
I wonder how
I think if
the Villains Land will affect Magic Kingdom once that opens. Mickey's Not So Scary, whether they'll jazz it up a bit more. Sorry, Jay, you were saying.
That's cool. I was just the thing again. I'm going back to Mickey's Not So Scary as well. To improve. I mean, as I said, I love it, but to add something more to it or to enhance on what they have done, something they had like pirates in the queue of pirates, and obviously they have the lady, the name's gone from my mind, in the queue of Haunted Mansion. And I've always thought like, how cool would it be if they added in for every year like live actors to pirates, live actors inside Haunted Mansion, live actors inside certain rides, just to add that extra little like, but not to make it a scare maze or to make it scary, but just to add in. So you're going around Haunted Mansion and there's actually,
I'm sure they've done that before
there, like following
on Pirates and Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, in Pirates they've added people, and they've done it in Haunted Mansion at the parties.
In the actual ride, I didn't know that. I've seen him in the
Yeah,
last.
they have. Yeah.
Right.
They stopped that when we went, didn't they? Definitely the Pirates overlay. The Mickey's, yeah. So in 2024, that wasn't a thing anymore. In that party,
No, we didn't.
We didn't have the live actors in the Pirates of the Caribbean. We had previously, but just not that one.
Mm-hmm. I think they've stopped them now. And Seven Dwarfs don't meet anymore. Well, they didn't in the most recent one. So.
Oh, that's sad.
The one
thing Seven Dwarfs is one of the ones that go for
is the shop opening hours. It's fair enough. I know the cast need to get home at the end of the day. they're pretty firm. Kind of as soon as the event stops, then the shops are shut. Whereas if you can have like an hour, they can make more money. I think that would be the one thing I would.
Yeah, they'd never get rid of you if they left the shops open. That's the problem.
Yeah, but you can't go anywhere anyway. You're stuck in the monorail line. So I'd much rather stay in the shop in the monorail line waiting to get out, because that's horrific. Trying to get out of a park after a party.
I'll tell you one thing though, we found the photo pass people were out really late last time, like well past when it closed. So it was actually a really good touch to be able to get that in late on as well.
Yeah,
our friends were out there after us on one of their nights, and they were there like literally an hour later, still getting photos with them.
Oh wow, amazing!
And it was like
the last
dead.
out was the best night of the party, because a lot of the children, like, parents who've got children, they're making their way out. You can get so much done in that last hour. If you make sure you got some candy left to fuel yourself up, and you are good to go.
Just get yourself over to Starbucks and you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Never going to sleep.
Main Street special, me.
I know, not so scary as well. If they could stay a little bit longer with the candy stations, because what we had a bulletproof plan that we had just enough time to go on Tiana's, and back in the day it was on virtual queue, so you could only ride it twice a day without buying a lightning lane if you were lucky. So we were like, we just have enough time. There's absolutely zero queue. There's no one in there. It's a walk on. We were in our own log ride vehicle as we're going down, and we thought that it's going to be just enough time, because there was a candy station right outside, a trick and treat station right outside, and we were like, as we are walking off, we're going to get filled up with candy like big time. And it would have worked out, but for some reason there was a backlog there after the drop, and we got out like 3-4 minutes after midnight, I think, and they were already gone.
Go once.
No, those ones were gone there on the Tiana though. Yeah. And it would have been, because it was a bulletproof plan. It was like last scoops, they don't care how much they're giving it to you. They're going to fill up the backpack, no problem.
They do. If you can get in that last half hour, you stop getting, they just dump candy in those bags.
If we can get rid of it, they haven't got to deal with it, have they, at the end of their shift?
And then you empty it in your rucksack and then go empty and start again.
Yeah.
What would you do?
But the clock hit midnight.
I wish they'd give me free Starbucks and free snacks in the last half hour. That'd be much better.
Oh, yeah.
What they do is what they have in the UK as well, these Too Good To Go bags. You know that there's an app called Too Good To Go, and usually Starbucks and other retailers, before they shut down or in the morning when they swap out from breakfast to lunch, they put all their leftover stock on this app, and you can buy it for really, really cheap.
That would go so fast.
Imagine, yeah.
But the thing you do to avoid the extra queuing at the monorail is just book a night at the Contemporary or Bay Lake Tower.
Oh,
I don't see a problem with that. What's your issue?
Yeah,
That's what happens at Bay Lake.
Just book a night.
yeah.
And
Well,
it's so easy.
you've already paid. You've already done $400 on your tickets. Why not put another $1,000 on a room?
I know, this is why you buy. This is why you've all got to buy DVC points.
But that's a good point that you raised, Kev. Like, imagine, like, if they know that there's a Magic Kingdom pass holder night or after hours event, and they would link that ticket to a potential discount, let's say in the Contemporary. Let's say like those who attend this event get I don't know how many % off for that one night from the Contemporary, and potentially that could bring in more people in there, and then a lot of people I think would potentially.
The trouble is they sell out the hotels without the discounts, don't they? And those
it's Disney to hike up the price.
You try getting a DVC room in Bay Lake Tower when there's a Christmas or Halloween party on. I know, so I've had to do it. So
we've watched the like when you get like the Halloween fireworks from the Grand Floridian when we stayed there. We kind of timed it perfectly that we checked out, went to the Halloween party, and then went back to movies as peasants after leaving the Grand Floridian for a couple of nights.
Yeah, done that.
But I did try to get us to let us upgrade while all the hurricane stuff was going on, but they quoted me $5,000 for 4 days. So I said thanks, but no thanks, and went on our merry way. And we went back to the movies.
DVC contract right there, Nick. Speak to
me. Watch this space on that one.
Speak to me. I can fix you up. But that's what I did, and I tell you, it's worth every penny when you're walking back out of the park. You're walking back to Bay Lake Tower, and everybody's getting on the buses and the monorail, and you just walk straight to your hotel. It couldn't be
Yeah, I
any
did
better.
love that. When we were just walking on that walk back to the Grand Floridian, that was like you could just nip out your room and go, should we just go and do the extra 2 hours on a Monday night? And you just go and spend a couple of hours on the Park's Dead, and you just walk back again.
Yeah, that's what we always
That's what I said at the
try
start.
to
See, stay there rather than paying for the tickets, and then you get the experience of the hotel as well.
do. Obviously, as a DVC member, you get the late hours 2 times a
Yeah,
week anyway. Yeah,
yeah, they're good. They are, and obviously Epcot as well, aren't they?
yeah,
So it's always worth it.
yeah. And of course,
Everything's worth it if we want to spend it.
the other way round it is to walk to the Contemporary and catch a bus back to Disney Springs and just walk to your room in Saratoga, which is about half the points.
Yes,
That's what we normally do.
the good old Saratoga that everyone keeps recommending.
The points make
Oh, we've stayed there.
makes
Really
sense.
good. Yeah, really liked it.
I
Yeah,
am a fan of a Disney bus now. I'll give everyone that. I learned that way.
And you get the boat to Springs as well, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did French Quarter last year, and that was worth every penny for that.
yeah. French Quarter's really a really nice location. As our fellow Olivia will be there in only a matter of hours' time from when we're recording.
She will.
Up there. Such a great result.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, I think unless anyone has anything else to add, I think we've covered the topic pretty well. Does anyone else? Oh shoot, we just lost Dean. Well, that's a bummer.
It's always when you try to record an intro or an outro. This is
Yeah,
when
every
there's
time.
something happens.
Every time we try to start or stop, it's like nope.
I would just like
The thing
to
with the
say,
events is, and I've spoke to loads of people about them, because obviously I've done something else with Adam on the Devonshire Diz as well, and they're worth as much as they're worth you wanting to pay them.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't see the value in paying $200 each, they're not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're buying them because that money you want to experience that, then they're worth every penny.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I don't know, like I had a kind of negative opinion of the after hours parties before we started this, because I've been to a couple and they were fun, but they're always like, I'm always like, oh, they cut the park hours short and they're expensive. But now that we've talked about it, I'm like, that's a really good attitude to have, not just for the after hours, but just as you go, right? Like if you go to any theme park, if you kind of set your expectations to get what you want out of that theme park or your event or whatever, then you're going to have a good time, right? Because if you make the priority, like for me, my priority is getting these great pictures because that's just what I love to do. And so when I walk away with 3,000 pictures on my camera, I'm like, that was a good day. Like I rode 3 things. That was a great day, But for other people, it's they get the treat and they met that character or they got on that attraction. And I think that's kind of cool. And that's something that this podcast highlights really well, is that every Disney fan kind of enjoys it in a really particular different way, even though we all do the same stuff. Like we all do ride the rides and we all do get the treats, but for some people the treat is the ride, and it's really neat. And so I think that as we discussed this topic, we really made it clear that if you want to go to something like this, make it worth your time by doing the things you enjoy doing. And if you're just going to be there and expect all this stuff and expect it to be perfect, then you're not going to be happy, right? Because you just can't expect perfection every time. It might rain, It's just how it goes sometimes.
And if your favourite time in the park's at night, well, then event's going to be your favourite time as well, because you spend the most amount of time there, don't you?
Yep.
And I know most people love a park at night, so
Yeah.
if you're talking about nighttime, then a fireworks cruise is fantastic, to be sat down watching the fireworks with drinks and snacks for less than $100. As far as I'm concerned, that's well worth the money as well.
yeah, definitely.
Seats and suites as well. To be able to sit down and watch the fireworks in space with alcohol and loads of snacks. Again, I think we paid less than $100 for our tickets. It's another way of taking.
Especially considering the price of the alcohol in Disney parks.
Oh wow.
Dining plan. Get a dining plan. Go to the parties, and all the snacks are on the dining plan as well, so you don't have to pay. It's all on the mouse.
It's all on the mouse.
That's
Love it.
called
Buy a meal.
maths.
Yeah, buy a meal. Get the alcoholic drink that comes with it, and then you don't really eat the meal. That's what we were doing last time. Yes.
Well, did we have anything else to add, or should we call it a wrap here?
All do the parties. That's our wrap. Disney are going to love us.
So literally
more-
on the back of this, I'm going to come off of this and book Hollywood Studios for September. I think it was on the edge because it's only 3 hours, but
We're like this for Magic Kingdom. It's our anniversary as well, so Sarah's kind of bending me into doing it.
So who's getting the commission from Disney? Because we sold that event for them to Dean. Jackson likes the idea now, so we're actually selling it.
If they want to do me a reduced annual pass or something, I'll be more than happy to take it.
We're happy to
There's still plenty
negotiate.
of annual passes without reducing them. So,
Yeah.
all right, thank you so much, everybody, for coming to Disney on Topic this week. We really killed that event. I think we got everything said about it. It was really good, and I had my opinion changed. I bet some other people are going to have their opinions changed. But I'm really glad we've had such wonderful times, and I'm really glad we were able to kind of talk about like how you enjoy Disney parks in a special way. I think that's really neat. And like we talked about at the beginning of the episode, it's those little magical things that happen during these parties or just during your day that you didn't expect that really make it awesome and worth it. And so thanks for joining us this week. Next week, we're going to talk about the live action remakes and opinions on that. And it will be something. It's going to be a good time, everybody. So be sure to tune in next week, and we'll see you then. Thanks so much.
yeah, thank you.
See you later, guys.